Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Today, let's get creative in numbers and create a map chart. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There, you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So let's create a chart in numbers that looks like this. No, this isn't some new functionality in numbers. This is something that you could have always done for a while. You just have to be creative in order to make this. So to show you how it's done, let's start fresh. I'm going to take this table here that has the populations for each continent and copy and paste that into a new document. Now if we wanted to create a chart from this, it's pretty easy. All you need to do is select the table here. Go to Chart, select the type of chart. Let's just do a 2D bar chart like that, and you can see what I get. But what if I want to place each one of these bars on a map? I can't separate these or place them in specific locations, so there doesn't really appear to be any way to do it. But you actually can if you get creative. So let's get rid of that, and instead of creating something for all of these rows, I'm just going to select the first row there. And I'm going to create a chart just for that. So now you can see here I've got the population just for North America. Now let's go and alter this to get rid of a lot of the extra stuff here. So under Chart, I'm going to get rid of the legend. I'm going to go to Axis and I'm going to get rid of just about everything I could find. I'm going to get rid of the minimum value. I'm going to take the grid lines and get rid of those. I'm going to go to the X-axis here, get rid of that line as well. And there's no good way to get rid of this, but if I select it, I can then change the value labels to custom and simply put nothing in the format. And now I've got this bar here that's all by itself. Let's shrink it down, make it as narrow as possible, and let's change the height. Now one of the things we want to do that's really key here is we want to change the maximum value. So let's go to the value y-axis here, and instead of the scale being a maximum of automatic, let's set it to something just above the largest value here. So Asia has almost 5 billion people. So I'll set it to that, which sets North America up to be about that height there. And then we've got the label here. We can maybe make that look a little nicer, make it bold. Let's make it white but with a shadow. So there'll be a shadow underneath it. We don't need an offset for the shadow there. And we can increase the opacity of it like that. We can make any other changes we want to this as well. I won't worry about the color and all that. You can change that to whatever color that you want. Now we have something for North America. How do we get the other 5 rows here? Well, I'm going to copy this and paste it, or you can Option drag to create a duplicate of it. And if I go then for the second copy to Series, I can change the value here from population of North America to, I'll select it and delete it, population of South America. And now we want to change the label as well. So we'll go to Axis here and select the X-axis, and you can see label references. We'll get rid of that and we'll change it to this one. Now that's South America. Let's continue and do that with each one. I'm going to Option drag North America away from here. Then for Series, I'm going to take the value and have it be the population of Europe. And I'm going to take the Axis X label reference and make that Europe. Let's Option drag to create a fourth one. And then I'll change the value here to population Asia. Change the X-axis label reference to Asia. Then let's Option drag for a fifth one and make the change there. And the label. And I'll Option drag for one last one and I'll change this to the population of Australia and the label for Australia. So now we've got each one of these showing its proper bar height. Remember, because we set the maximum for each one of these in value y here to 5 billion, slightly bigger than Asia's population, they will all match. So now all we need is a map. Fortunately, we do have a map right here. If I go to Shape and I search for map, I can find a couple maps here. I'll take this one. I'll put it here. Let's do something with it before we actually move it into position. I'm going to go to Format, Shapes and Lines, Break Apart. And that breaks it all apart into different things. So I can get rid of Antarctica and some extra things here that will make it a little easier to manage. I can now select it all and then I can group it or I can unite it into one shape again. And now we can stick it behind these. You can see it's going to be in front. So I can go to Arrange, Send to Back. I can set the color something a little bit better. So we can change the fill to something a little bit darker, brighter, however we want to do it. Any color that you want. And now that we've got that, we can move these bars to where we want them. Like that. See, Australia's bar isn't really even registering here. If we were to bring this higher, we could see it register. So what we might want to do is we might want to increase the height here of all of these. So let's go to Arrange and we could see the height is 84. What if we did 100? That would be just enough to show a little bit for Australia. So what we want to do for each one of these is change it to 100. So it's 100 high. And we can position these where we want. It's a little hard to read the labels there because everything except the continents are just white there. So we can make this look a little bit better by putting another shape behind. Do basic. I'll do a rounded rectangle there. I'll have this cover a lot of the area. And I'll arrange and send this to the back like that. And then we could set this color to something a little bit better. However you want it to look. And now you can continue to arrange things and get things looking like you want. There are certain things that you can easily change. If I wanted to select all of these, I can shift click to select all of these here. And then I could go and under Chart, I can select Chart Colors and go to a different color like that. So that's pretty easy to do. And you could also go to the font here and change that for all of them. But if you want to do something like change the color of each one, you're going to have to go to each one here, like select North America, go in and change North America. So you have to change 6. So now you've got a map that looks like this with these. And the best part of this is still all tied to the table here. So if we made a mistake, for instance, and this number was wrong, I could adjust it and you could see how it still fits. Or I could change these numbers to say, gross domestic product or some health measurement or all sorts of different things. So you can use this setup to represent lots of different things. You don't have to recreate it all from scratch next time. You could just copy and paste this, change maybe the colors of the map, the colors of the background, change these numbers here, maybe give it a nice title across the top and use it like you want. You can also select these and change the chart type from 2D column to 3D column. And then you end up with this. Probably going to have to do a little more work here with the widths of each one of these, which is kind of a nice arrangement here. It'd probably work a little bit better if you did it with that first one and got it looking exactly like you wanted before you duplicated it and created the other 5. And as you can imagine, you can use this for all sorts of other things. You can have any kind of map or some sort of graphic and then place different bars or different things on different sections and have the numbers that are in the table shown visually in some sort of really nice looking effect like this. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.